Tema je bosanska, ali autor ovog filma nije Bosanac. Zadovoljstvo je pozdraviti Francesca Montanjera, Italijana, reditelja dokumentarnog filma Brotherhood. Francesco, welcome to this virtual Q&A. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here.
First of all, I want to know how you get interested in this topic in Bosnia, how you actually met this family in the first place.
In 2015, I got a chance to see one TV reportage of an Italian journalist who got to the Delic family, to the Delic father, through a local story of Italian Bosnian man who got radicalized and went to Syria. When I saw the family, the Delic family, very briefly in this reportage, I got hooked. I got interested right away. Because back in the 90s, I studied with many Bosnians in school in Italy, and I didn't understand this phenomenon. I didn't even know that this phenomenon ever existed in Bosnia. So I wanted to go there and to meet this family, which also was living in a kind of like very like traditional, very archaic way. And when I saw these three brothers in the reportage, I thought, what will be their future? Like how the father became like that, and what will happen to these boys? Which kind of men they will become? And that's why I decided to go to Gornja Bocnia and to start making this film.
Yeah, but it is not that easy as it seems. For me, I have to admit, it is beyond me how you managed to film this film, because journalists in Bosnia and Herzegovina often complain that it's very complicated to get in touch with the Salafi community. They are very close for communication, especially those charged with terrorism. And here you had complete access to their life. How did you manage to get their trust?
Well, it was always been very hard at the beginning, especially. Dealing with the father was a very complex matter. So it was always like a sort of a power struggle between me and him. I don't know why, but he was since the beginning very mediatically exposed. So the father already gave some interviews to like Croatian TV and I think also certain Bosnian TVs. In those years in which he had a trial for terrorism. So this kind of initial possibility of like talking to journalists was already there. But then I think the fact that I was a foreigner, that I'm a foreigner in Bosnia, kind of to a certain extent helped, because I was beyond the local, we could say like conflicts, or maybe not conflicts, but like frictions. So they just saw me as an external element in that community, and they were also kind of curious about me. They were curious about me, about my crew, and I just told them that I didn't come there to judge them, but to understand their point of view. So I just asked them if they could please share with me their lives. And obviously the film is not about the father, but as you see, is about the three brothers. So it's about these teenagers who have no like stigma of any sort. They're just like young boys which are growing up in a difficult environment, in a difficult community, being shepherd, which is also quite of a difficult job at that young age. So with them, we install a very natural and normal, man to man, or like, boys to boys relationship, which of course it grew in the time. So I think the fact that we shot this film for like a period of 4 years, it has also been a fundamental element in gaining very slowly, gradually their trust, to a point in which we kind of became part of their lives. We were also, since the father wasn't there for 2 years because he was in jail, me and my crew, and partially also the fixer, the local Bosnian, which were translating for me, and doing sort of cultural mediation for me, we all became kind of like older brothers to the boys.
Great.
And then I think this kind of like, we establish a strong human contact which goes beyond language and beyond religion of any sort. Anyway, the boys are just beautiful people.
Yeah, and we could feel that on the screen. As I understood, you started your filming before sentence was made, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So back then you didn't even know what sentence will be. Yeah.
Yes, we were wanting to follow, like, their lives, because I knew that the sentence could have been like, that he gets convicted, but we weren't sure, obviously.
Of course.
So
For me personally, it was a heartbreaking moment when the father shared the news about the sentence to his sons, assigning them to take care of the family. And I was wondering all the time, where is their mother?
that is a very complicated question. First of all, as you know, in this sort of a community, women are kind of like sort of secluded, like distance from the man's world. So like we decided, it was a kind of artistic choice to concentrate like all of this film on the masculine side of their society, because for these boys, growing up meant to like face a lot of other types of masculinity, about facing the father's masculinity, facing the other shepherd's masculinity. And there are a lot of female important figures for me, at least in the film, which are the school teachers. These people are like, represent in their world a very strong motherly figure. On the other hand, I must admit that a mother was there, but she wasn't physically present in the family and in the growing up of the three brothers, because she was sick for a very long time. So she wasn't physically present in the house because she had to spend time between the hospital and other relatives, which could take care of her in a very delicate moment of the life. So
Yeah.
ultimately, it was an artistic choice to focus entirely on this kind of a world where the boys don't have a chance to have a mother. They don't have a chance to mother in the way we maybe probably mean it, as a constant maternal figure who can really influence you in your growing up and give you a certain kind of like maternal example compared to the one of the father.
I understand. And what does the last scene show, Francesco? Did one of the brothers run away from home or what? You got to know them well. Do you think that they would run away?
Well, the last scene is more of a projection. The whole film is constructed in a way that the little one, little Uzair, in this long period of time, he gets in one of the last scenes a sort of awakening. He realized in which kind of a family he's born for the first time. So I'm talking about this very delicate moment in everybody's childhood, or maybe more adolescence, when you get self-aware of yourself, of your condition, of the family where you're born into, and you kind of decide what you want to do about this problem. Do you want to leave this family or not? So in that moment, because Uzair kind of felt trapped because of the father way of like, maybe teaching him the Quran, asking him if he kind of believes in that in a sort of a way, he has a moment of fugue. He just escapes in a mental way. That's kind of more, that last scene for me is more of an expression of his need to at least temporarily run away from this world, maybe from the father, maybe from the brothers, to run away from like a kind of like a written destiny. So I'm of course still in touch with them. No, they didn't run away from the family, but obviously for me, that ending of the film, it's an open ending about like an open problem, which is like dealing with your father. And as we all know, dealing with our parents, it's an ongoing relationship that we have to keep up for all of our lives. So let's say the problems they might have with a paternal figure will continue for many, many decades in their lives. But I just wanted to represent in his mental state in that moment of awakening as a teenager.
Francesco, thank you for this powerful, powerful film, and I wish you very good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having it in your amazing festival.